A very warm welcome to the 23rd graduation ceremony of the Master of Science in Corporate Communication. I'm delighted to salute the graduation class of 2021. You're done! Our warmest congratulations. I would also like to bid a warm welcome to all family, friends and honored guests that have joined us today from around the globe to celebrate the achievements of our graduates. My name is Rijke Bouwman and I'm the Executive Director of the program, and it is my very great pleasure and honor to be your Master ceremony today. Our team works mostly behind the scene to make sure that everything runs smoothly, and today we will do our utmost best to do the same. For the second time in our history, we convert to a virtual ceremony to keep everyone safe. Graduating, however, is a tremendous achievement, and it is worth pausing to celebrate, even in these challenging circumstances. Today, graduate, RSM is formally recognizing your hard work, your accomplishments, your perseverance, and this great milestone. And it gives me great honor to welcome you all to our graduation ceremony today. So let's now first welcome our graduate with a big round of applause. So the graduate will shortly introduce themselves now. Julia, may I ask you to start and introduce yourself and say something to your family and friends that are watching?
Thank you, Marika. Well, it seems I have the honor to officially get the ball rolling. Let's then start from welcoming everybody. I can see lots of familiar faces, and that is so nice. For those who don't know me, my name is Julia Boratto. I'm an engineer with a 15-year international experience in a senior marketing and communication role within a highly diversified industry matrix organizations ranging from consulting, manufacturing, biopharmaceuticals, and lastly, chemicals. Back in 2017, I chose RSM, and specifically this Executive Master in Corporate Communication. And I'm so grateful for this choice, especially if I think of my first day at RSM. I can truly understand how much this experience has been a transformative journey for most of us, especially all the discussions with my classmates, many of them are here, were always mind-opening, and a key role has been played by our professors at RSM because they always reminded us to be strategic thinkers and not simply communication doers. So I'm super excited, super happy, and I feel privileged to be here celebrating with all of you, my fellow students, with you, all the people helping us with the Executive Master and all the professors. And as you can see, I can't help smiling, so I'm very happy.
Thank you, Julia. Very warm welcome to your graduation today. Timon, can I hand you over the word?
Yes, thank you, Marijke. First of all, congrats to all the other students. I'm first of all happy for myself, but also happy for all of you guys as well. We are all in the same boat. A big thank you to you from RSM, especially to your team, Marijke. Thank you very much for the great support. And of course, most important, thank you to my family and to my dad. Thanks to them, I'm able to stand here. Otherwise, I wouldn't be able. Actually, my name is Timon Eiselt, raised and born in Switzerland, working in marketing for ages, and will soon jump over the bridge into the banking sector.
Good, thanks. Thank you, Timon. Jasmina, can I give you the word to introduce yourself?
Thank you, Marijke. Hi, everyone. I want to thank my family and friends for attending the ceremony and for their support for the last 2 years. Congratulations to all the other students. I'm so glad to be here and to graduate now. For the people who don't know me, my name is Jasmina Farisi. I'm 31 years old. I live in Rotterdam and I'm a general manager at Albert Heijn.
Welcome.
And I want to thank RSM. Thank you.
Thank you, Jasmina. Welcome. Monica, you're up.
So good afternoon to everyone. I'm also very happy to join all the classmates this afternoon. To my introduction, I'm Hungarian and I live in The Hague. I'm working at the European Patent Office, a great organization for intellectual property. And I am a chemical engineer and I work also as a chemical engineer as a manager. So this study was an additional step in my career to reorient myself eventually to other parts in the organization.
Thank you, Monica. Welcome. Karen.
Hi, good afternoon, professor, staff, fellow students, and a warm welcome to my dear family and friends. I'm really delighted to celebrate this ceremony together. For those who don't know me, my name is Karen. And like Captain Kirk and Commander James Bond, I'm a naval officer, although my field of expertise is slightly different than theirs, as I've been working in the corporate communication for the Ministry of Defense for the last 23 years. Thank you.
Yeah, welcome, Commander. Liliana, can I give you the word?
Hi, everyone. I'm really pleased to join my colleagues in graduating today. I also want to thank Marijke and her team because they really live up to the Rotterdam Erasmus University motto of feeling everyone welcomed. I felt very welcomed. A little bit about myself. I am a PR and marketing consultant with over 15 years of experience. I have worked internationally in 6 different countries. And I'm very pleased to be living and working in the Netherlands and to work for a marketing agency where I lead accounts in life sciences and also commercial real estate and lifestyle. I am delighted to be graduating with my colleagues and look forward to the ceremony.
Welcome, Liliana. Silvana, you're next.
Hi, good afternoon. I'm Silvana. I am from Budapest, and behind you see Budapest as well behind me just on the screen. So I'm hoping it's not going to get dark too fast so you can still enjoy the view a bit. So I'm working as a journalist in a Swiss media company. I've been working there for the past 7-8 years, but I work a lot remotely. So that's why also I managed to work a bit from home right now. I am really happy that I joined this program like 1.5 years ago. It was still, the first session was still in person and now all the rest was online. But I'm really amazed how RSM managed to organize and really make this Zoom session so interactive. And I learned a lot about online education during this program as well, not only strategic communication and all the other courses I took. So yeah, I really enjoyed it and I'm really looking forward to this graduation day.
Welcome. Adi.
Hey, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Aries Pride. I work at a large vocational school in Rotterdam, and I work there as a marketing communications team lead and a corporate spokesperson. Those 2 roles I combine. I want to congratulate all my fellow students, and I want to say a warm welcome to my mom and dad, my parent-in-law, and my kids and my wife.
Yes, welcome, Ari. Marlijn.
Yeah, good afternoon. I wish my background was as nice as Silvana's background, but yeah, unfortunately we are all at home celebrating this great day. I'm also very happy I was able to do this study all together with you guys, and also very thankful to Marijke. I was a little bit reluctant when I started this study, and I had a good conversation with you, Marijke, and you could really convince me to do this study, and you said I was able to do it. So thank you for that. And I also want to thank my parents, Lydia and Wim and Martijn. They really encouraged me to get the most out of myself. It was quite a long journey for me. I started a long time ago with the MAVO, and now today I'm here with this hat on and trying to graduate. And yeah, I'm really proud of that, also to do that, to celebrate it together with you. So I want to thank them very much, and also the other friends and family who are here present today.
Thank you, Marlijn, for your kind words, and welcome to your graduation ceremony. Anouk.
Yeah, hi, my name is Anouk Selter, and I live in Holland, nearby Amsterdam. I started this studies, I think, about 5 years ago, and someone is entering now, so my dog is barking. Anyway, and I'm very proud of me achieving this this part and finally finalizing my studies, because I had a child in between, which makes 4 children at our home, and I work full time. So I think I did a pretty good job. So thank you for all being here and celebrating this together with me.
Great to hear. Anouk, welcome. Jared.
Hello, everyone, and congratulations to all of us. I'm Jared. I'm the owner and communication consultant for Good Comms. I have 20 plus years experience in journalism and communication. And I'm very happy to be here, and I'm welcome to my home, by the way. And I would like also to welcome my mom from the Philippines, who can watch from the Philippines, and my best friend and my cousin, and my aunt in the US, and my mother-in-law who's in Florida. Enjoy, let's enjoy.
Welcome, Jared. So we're very pleased to see you all accompanied by your family and friends. A very warm welcome on behalf of RSM. So since we cannot celebrate this special moment at our beautiful university, I've inserted several pictures of our university in our program to give you a small glimpse about the journey of our graduate. So the first part, I would like to have the slides, please. The first part of the program is our winter and summer course in corporate communication. So part of our graduate followed the course live, was in a hotel in the middle of the Netherlands. It was before the pandemic hit, and part followed online. But in both formats, it is a very intensive program, and each day discusses a different topic in the corporate communication, led by professors from our own university and from abroad, professors who are at the forefront of their respective fields. It was a very intensive course, but also a very inspiring course, and hopefully new friendships were made there. Now we're going to the first part of this program here today, and it is my pleasure to announce our first speaker of today, Professor Ansgar Richter. He is the Dean of the Rotterdam School of Management, Erasmus University, and he recorded a special message for our graduate to welcome you on behalf of our school.
Dear graduates, on behalf of myself and the RSM community, it is my great honor to extend my congratulations to you, our newest graduates from RSM's Master in Corporate Communications program. Something that I'm sure you have learned during your studies here at RSM is that finding the right balance is one of the most important keys to success. I know that it hasn't always been easy, especially with the challenges presented by the pandemic over the past 1.5 years. However, you've found a way to maintain your focus while juggling work, family, and studying, and this commitment has ultimately led you to this moment today. RSM is incredibly proud of you, and you should be proud of yourself. I'm very sorry that I cannot be here with you to celebrate today. However, I have no doubt that you, your professors and families and friends will mark this special occasion with a celebration of your achievements and the hard work and perseverance you have shown during these last few years. As you embark on this new stage in your life, remember that the role that communication plays in society is more critical now than ever. In our increasingly globally networked society, what we say and how we say it can not only influence the success or failure of an organization or a business leader, but it can also shape perceptions of truth. The responsibility is great. Today, corporate communications is about conveying critical, authentic, and transparent messaging in a way that has never been done before. It's not just about marketing or responding to a crisis. It's about listening, creating engagement, and building connections. I have no doubt that the skills you have been honing throughout this program will help you to address this increasing need for strategic communications and steer your company or organization in the right direction. You've learned to become a strategic connector, connecting the outside with the inside and people with business. And I hope that you will continue to do so with our mission in mind. Embrace the power of words and messaging to become a force for positive change, and to encourage those around you to do the same. It's an exciting and dynamic time to be a corporate communicator, and I look forward to seeing the difference you will make for business and for society as a member of our alumni community. I wish you the very best for today and for the future. Hartelijk gefeliciteerd.
And we have 50 masterclasses in total, and the graduate needed to do 6. And these masterclasses dive into one core topic of the corporate communication. For example, corporate branding, corporate reputation management, crisis management, but also more other topics like strategic management and financial management. And after each course, they had to complete an individual or take-home group assignment. And you see here 2 pictures, one live on campus and the other from the studio. So during the pandemic, we switched to online education, and we work with studios from all over Europe, because we have professors from Spain, France, Switzerland, UK, and to facilitate our master classes on the highest possible level. We ask our graduates to make a short video about their journeys here at RSM. So let's see what they have said.
When I look back at the last couple of years doing the Executive Master Corporate Communications at RSM, a few things come to mind, a few words come to mind, like inspiration. If I look back at like certain elements like the study trip in New York, visiting super cool and super relevant companies and universities, during the whole course working with the best professors in the field, discussing the trending topics in the field, for me that was very inspirational, but also very relevant as a communications professional. Another word that definitely comes to mind is fun. I really enjoyed myself the last couple of years. Maybe not so much at the end with writing the thesis, which was kind of a struggle for me, but definitely if I think back at the study trip, at the starting week, the different classes, meeting intelligent and really nice people from all over Europe, the peers in the communications field, that for me was very, very much a fun experience.
I started the master with a course still on site from Oriol Iglesias around branding. This course from Oriol was so interesting, interactive and energetic that after that course I immediately decided that I would like to follow the whole master program. But I can at the same time very well still remember that evening dinner that we had after the first course, which was on site, with all the fellow students to exchange and to get to know each other. And that feeling that Marike gave me to be part of the family of corporate communication students, which accompanied me throughout my whole journey during my studies.
The intentions and goals I had to participate at this program, well, I have 2 big intentions actually. The one, of course, was to learn more critical thinking and to learn also about the latest communication knowledge so that I could refresh the knowledge I did when I was about 20 and I followed my first education. The second part is a little bit more personal, and that's because for years I've been disappointed that I didn't have a master's degree, and so now I finally have it, and now I'm very proud of myself.
One of the highlights of the program for me personally was the overseas trip to New York. We had the opportunity to meet and interact with the leaders of incredible companies like LinkedIn, Weber Shandwick, Art2Page Society, PayPal, and so on. We even had our personal lecture at the Yale Club and the storytelling workshop at the New York University. So together it was really amazing, truly inspirational, and also lots of fun with my classmates.
The most important thing I have learned from this master is to believe and trust in myself. I'm a general manager. I have almost no experience in corporate communication. I was very excited to start this master because it was really out of my comfort zone. During the lessons, I found out that even though I had no background in communication, I already knew a lot because of my work experience. And what I liked most about this program was the diversity of teachers and students. Many fellow students were working for other companies and therefore had a totally different view of certain subjects than I had. I learned a lot from this, but also enjoyed the conversation and discussions we had. I had a lot of fun over the past 2 years, and I want to thank everyone from the program.
Hi, I'm Liliana. My goal is to help companies gain trust, create authentic, sustainable campaigns, and have real impact. In my research, I've looked at 2 greenwashing campaigns facilitated by influencers in the fashion industry, one of the most polluting industries in the planet. One campaign was perceived as greenwashing and the other wasn't. Did it have to do with the campaign messaging? Was it the choice of influencer? Or had it to do with the company's reputation? My thesis seeks to answer these questions. At some point, my method of data collection didn't work. Twitter had changed its API. I imagine I couldn't finish my thesis on time. Then I thought of Sifan Hassan, who during the 2021 Olympic Games fell, got up, and finished the 5,000-meter race, winning the gold medal for the Netherlands. This image, together with the energy of my colleagues, made me get up and race to the end and deliver my thesis on time. I'm incredibly happy to graduate together with my colleagues in November 2021. It's my gold medal.
My 3 catchwords are compass, flexibility, and belonging. Compass, because in every masterclass we were expected to think critically and about the purpose of our profession. Are we doing things right? Or are we doing the right things? How do we create value? Is it in how we integrate all the parts of a corporate brand, in our sense-making abilities, or how flexible we are in combining our operational and strategic skills? This brings me to my second catchword, which is flexibility. Flexibility is also what makes this program unique. The flexibility of this program makes it possible to finish it with a full-time job, a family, and even a pandemic. My third catchword is belonging, in the sense that when I am in the classroom, I always felt that I belonged because we are encouraged to contribute and stretch our thinking. My thesis topic is also about this last word, belonging.
Intense, interactive, insightful and inspiring. A true roller coaster through the main themes of corporate, crisis, leadership, employee and persuasive communication. The Executive Master in Corporate Communication deepened my knowledge and left me with an unstoppable desire to learn more.
So if you're watching this video, it means that we graduated, which is like really happy and sad at the same time. I remember I started this program just before the outbreak of the pandemic, and I thought that I would be in Rotterdam every 2-3 months. Well, in the end, most of my courses were online. But this is also my first keyword, online courses. I think they have advantages and they made me be able to do my course faster than I expected. So that was great. Second point is maybe lifelong learning. I think these courses have inspired me, or the whole program has inspired me to do even more courses in the future. I think that learning should never stop. And the third point is time management. I am not good at it. I need to get better.
My 3 catchwords are people, purpose and planet. people because this study gave me the great opportunity to build a network of communications professionals. And also people because companies should no longer only think about profit and selling products. They should ask themselves the question, why are we on Earth and what is our purpose? They should think about their footprint and how they can improve the lives of the people who work for them, live around the companies, but also far away in poor countries. And also the consumers, they want to buy products with good stories. And that's where we come in as communications professionals. We should step up and advise our boards about the purpose of our organizations and companies. My thesis is also about stories, the stories of charities. And of course the million-dollar question is, what motivates people to donate? And I asked the charities if they had the answer to this question. And the answer was no. They are not aware of the reasons why people want to help, because they get nothing in return, only a good feeling. But some organizations do know, and they focused in their communications on the reasons why people want to help with stories that are appealing for them. And the effect was that they got more donations. And I hope my thesis will also inspire other organizations to do the same and also get more donations, so that they can do what they are really good at, to make the world a better place.
3 words come to my mind to describe this exciting time at RSM: transformative, mind-opening and strategic. Especially if I think of my first day at Executive Master in Corporate Communication, I truly understand how much this experience has been a transformative journey for most of us. My classmates, they were all international professionals hailing from medium-large corporations who had been working for around 15 years. So at each elective course, we always got a wealth of experience and knowledge that everybody could bring to the table for really mind-opening discussions, and this was fabulous. But a key role has been played by our professors at RSM. They always reminded us to be strategic thinkers and not simply doers. Today, communication professionals are expected to guide their leaders on how to communicate about organizational purpose, vision, strategy through change and major crises in a responsive, authentic and effective way.
Structure, energy, co-creation. These are 3 words that come to mind when I think of the program at RSM. The program has helped me to sharpen my structuring skills, which is a real add-on next to my creative content skills. Energy. The master gave me a lot of energy and input in new topics and ways of thinking. It really opened up my mind. Co-creation. One of the things that I've most enjoyed was the people attending the program and how collaborative they all were. Through this interaction, I became a better co-creator myself.
3 key words to describe my experience with this program. Beginner. You can start this master program either as a communication specialist already or as a communication beginner like me, and both parties will profit a lot. Teamwork. Teamwork is an essential part of this program. I really enjoyed these fruitful discussions we had at the plenary hall for so many times. Flexibility. You are completely flexible in how to arrange the course of your studies. Me personally, I do like flexibility a lot. So when I started this program, I did 3 courses within 3 months, and afterwards I did a break of more than 7 months without any problem. One of my key learnings during my entire work on the thesis is clearly to focusing and narrowing down on a specific topic. What I will never forget about this program are the aperos and the dinners with the whole study group at Boratto in downtown Rotterdam. A great experience.
The very, very best part of everything was that it felt like me time. Every time I went to Rotterdam to follow a course, I would give myself 1 night in a hotel. And the 3 days were just amazing because I could only focus on myself, on my knowledge, on my personal growth, and on the people that were there, and I didn't have to think about children that needed something. So on one hand, to be able to learn and get to work on your own development, and the other thing that it was relaxing and focusing on only one thing at a time, it was really nice. So besides all the things I learned and the things I got out of it, this was one of the better parts.
And then the last point is maybe that I'm a journalist and I thought I'm good at writing, but academic writing is something else. I learned that, and I think that lifelong learning comes back here as well, and you need to really not take your skills for granted and always be open to learn new approaches on that. So yeah, I'm looking forward to implement that as well in the future. So altogether, thank you very much for all the very interesting courses. I really enjoyed my program at Rotterdam.
Personal growth, love, and reward.
Inspiration.
Growing.
Purpose.
Intense.
Lifelong learning.
Teamwork.
Transformative journey for most of us.
I'm incredibly happy to graduate together with my colleagues.
And this was fabulous.
Thanks for watching and enjoy the rest of the program.
Thank you all for your inspiring videos. Thank you. So about the program, back to our New York study trip. It is really something. Yet due to the pandemic, we had to move the last edition online. Yet from our graduates, almost half did go to New York in 2019. So let me show you some pictures of our time there. Our hotel is located Midtown Manhattan, and we travel by foot or subway to leading American companies and re-owned business school. It is a true experience. So we visit a week-long leading companies like PayPal, and we learn from their strategies, few experiences in the field of corporate communication. And we visit business schools like Stern and attend lectures from American professors on the corporate communication. And here are some unofficial pictures of the study trip. So the students visited a baseball game of the New York Yankees, visited the Blue Man Group Theater, and last but not least, we had a hot eating contest with Professor Argenti. He's difficult to beat, yet one of our graduates did. I can confirm because I was there. It was Karen. And our last edition was online. So we did a trip around the world. So we had speakers from Asia, Europe, the US. Yeah, inspiring sessions with our famous Professor Argenti, of course, and among others, Maaike Schultz. And then the last part of the program, the thesis. I have to say it is really one of the most difficult parts of the program, and the graduates had to write an academically sound thesis based on a huge amount of reading, research. It is really the toughest part, but they did it. And as a result, today they will obtain their Master of Science in Corporate Communication. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to the real thing, the diplomas. So our academic director, Professor Joep Cornelissen, will hand out the diplomas. And we will proceed as follows. We will do one by one. So Professor Joep Cornelissen will share a few words about our graduate, about their final journey of this program, the thesis. And then you will receive virtually your diploma. And it is also the moment that you can transfer your TESOL from the right to the left. Not now, yes, only when you receive your diploma. And afterwards, you are given the floor to share some words. Joep, can I ask you to come to the stage? Yeah, thank you.
Good afternoon. So also, dear graduates, dear family and friends at home, of course, as well. Also from my side, I wish you a warm welcome to this celebration of your study achievement and you completing the MSc program today. So my name is Joep Cornelis. I'm the academic director of the program and a professor of corporate communications at RSM. So part of the team. It is always for me a big pleasure to stand in front of you, the graduates who will be completing the program today. Now it's not physical, but we'll see each other again in an online format. But still, it's a really great privilege and pleasure to be with you. Before we start with the process, let me also say that, and I think the Dean said something similar to what I'm going to say, but I really have a deep admiration for all of you in terms of studying finishing the program this year. It's been the last 1.5 years has been very exceptional and challenging for many people, but I'm sure it must have been equally so for you. Doing the program and then particularly also finishing your thesis alongside your work commitments, your family commitments, and doing all of that together is really impressive. So I think yeah, I really take my hat off to you for managing to do that in this particular period. And I've seen you participate in the courses and work with your supervisors on your thesis. You're really, as a group of students, you're extremely driven, resilient, and also hard workers. So I think that applies to many students who obviously finish this program, but I think as a cohort, you're particularly special that you have these skills maybe in abundance compared to students from previous years. You also, as a group of professionals, I would say, very passionate about your profession. We already saw that come through in the videos that you shared. You really care a lot about corporate communications as a profession. You're constantly thinking about how you can better yourself, how you can learn more, how you can improve the profession and really make a difference to your organization and to society. And that critical, reflexive, engaged attitude really also comes through in the topics that you've studied for your thesis. So there's a lot of very societally important topics that you're addressing, each of you with your thesis work. So there's work looking at what makes people give to good causes. There's work looking at what helps us create more engaging workforces where people really get a sense of belonging based on the organization that they're working in. There's work looking at how do we manage the reputation of an organization through a pandemic or through a crisis of this kind. There's work looking at how can we foster truly engaging transformational leadership that supports an organization. So, and then I haven't even talked about all of the topics that you've done, but all of your topics are really inspirational cases where you've gone the extra mile, I would say, to address topics that are societally really important. And also with that are really pushing the boundaries of the corporate communication field, both academically and in practice. And the other thing I should say is that when you did that, you really more than delivered. So this year, I can honestly say that the theses were very good, exceptionally high quality, and in many cases, and we'll come to that in a minute, you really pushed the envelope as far as academic work was concerned, so really pushing the theoretical boundaries of the field, but for all of you, you've also addressed topics in a way where this can immediately influence practice as well. So really many congratulations for achieving that, particularly also in this period of time. So let me now turn to each of you individually. So I will briefly discuss the work that you've done. I will share a few words from your coach, and then, as Marijke said, at some point I'll ask you to put the tassel from, I think it's from the right to the left. So at that point you will have officially, that's the mark that you've officially graduated from the program. And ladies and gentlemen, before we proceed, I should say as well that for each candidate you get the title of the thesis, but you also get the title of the description of the I will statement that the candidate has has formulated for him or herself. And this I will statement is something that we ask at the business school at RSM every student to do. It's part of the mission to be a force for positive change, and as part of that mission we ask each student to state their own pledge in terms of what they will do to either to better themselves, to keep learning, as well as to make a positive difference to the world. So you'll see that as well as part of the slide for each candidate. So let's not wait any longer, because it's otherwise going to be a long day. But we do want to obviously spend a bit of time on each of you individually. So I'm going to start with Julia Boratto. And Julia, as you can see on the screen, has done an excellent thesis on the topic of leadership communication during an extended crisis, such as during the COVID pandemic that we're in at the moment. Inspired by an example of good leadership that you had experienced yourself from a former CEO that you worked for, Julia was really driven, exceptionally driven to explore this topic, and she did so using multiple methods. So as part of a thesis work, for those of you watching at home, you would have to do a bit of empirical research, gather data, and what Julia did in this case is gather both quantitative as well as qualitative data. And that's something that even academics like myself don't try to do, because it's the hardest thing to do, to have different types of data and to bring that together in a coherent manner. But you managed to do it, so it's a real exceptional piece of work. You got an 8.5 in the end, so a really high grade for the thesis, where you managed to bring these two types of methods and analysis together in a single thesis. With the data, you study the communication competencies of leaders, their style of communicating with employees, and how this changes over time. And perhaps the most crucial insight of your thesis is that communication managers and leaders need to think much more reflexively about what they do and need to adapt and respond their communications in creative and effective ways based on them tracking how employees feel over time. Your coach, Julia, said Julia has picked a very relevant topic. You work tirelessly on the literature and the analysis of your research, and as a result you've written an excellent thesis. The variety of methods you used to conduct your research as well was excellent, and I'm impressed with your overall analysis. My evaluation is based on the concepts identified above, that the notion of this, that the work overall is excellent. And this is from Professor Argenti, who was the coach for your thesis. So he was really impressed, as we were, with what you managed to do in your thesis. So Julia, it's impressive how you managed to complete the master program, particularly in these challenging times. You can be really, really incredibly proud of yourself of completing the program, but also the thesis work that you've done. We hope that at this point, having finished, that you get a little bit more balance back into your life, and that you can also enjoy your family time again at home. You always brought a fresh, cheerful and very positive Italian spirit to our master classes, and everyone will really definitely remember that. We wish you all the best in the world, and many, many congratulations with your success today. So on behalf of Erasmus University Rotterdam, I hereby virtually hand you your diploma. So your diploma is going to come your way, but this is just to virtually mark that there will be a diploma. And you can now turn, at this point you can turn, or you can try and turn your graduation tassel to the left. Hope it works with you. Yeah, okay. So we've done it. So congratulations. You're now a Master of Science in Corporate Communication. So Julia, I would also like to invite you to, at this point, to share a few words as well. And this can be really of your own choosing. So it can be about the program, but and what you remember maybe as your biggest insight, but some of that you've already shared. And you could also just say something nice to your family or friends. It's up to you.
you so much. Thank you so much, Professor Cornelissen. Well, what can I say? The introduction was beautiful, so I was almost crying. So it's better that I don't go this fast. So yes, honestly, I can only share the fact that I'm so relieved that this is finally over, because I would have never believed that it would have been so stressful. But at the same time, such an enjoyable and fascinating journey. So I officially take the chance to thank again my thesis coach, Professor Arganti, and for his leadership, undeniable leadership and expertise, and Professor Wang for her insightful feedback. And then in general, yes, I already shared a few words before also in the videos that were shared. I would just like to dedicate this whole executive master to my father, who left me 11 years ago, but he still is my biggest source of inspiration, both professionally and personally. And I would like to thank so much my mom and my sister, because they were always there. They always supported me during this time, time of strenuousness and time of excitement and enlightenment. So I'm very happy. And again, also my heartfelt congratulations to all my fellow students. It was really a privilege to be at RSM with all of you, with my classmates and professors and all the people that worked hard to make it successful over time. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you again, Juliana. Hope, as I said, hope you get time to, I suspect your family is watching, hope you also get time to properly celebrate with them as well. So
yeah,
many congratulations
one is already
again.
ready.
Okay, good. That's good to hear. Thank you. We're going to move to the second graduate for today, and that's Timon Eiselt. And Timon got an 8.5 for his thesis, and he graduated cum laude for the entire program. So he's done an exceptionally well completing the study program. Timon, I can't see you on the screen yet, but I'm going to make a start. Timon has written his thesis on whether and how design thinking can be applied to create an engaging and satisfied workforce. He reviewed the prior literature on this topic, and he realized that most work on design thinking had been applied in the context of marketing and in the context of customer relationships. He really saw a gap there, and he made a creative leap himself that equally, he felt design thinking could be used very effectively, potentially, towards employees. So to foster their satisfaction and engagement, and this was really your calling for this particular thesis. And you set about researching this, interviewing design thinking experts, and you developed very rich insights into how it could equally be used in this employee setting. Timon nicely highlights the conditions in the thesis under which design thinking may have positive impacts on the workforce, and how it requires, as a base condition, that managers embrace the approach and really relax control a little bit to make it effective. Timon, you demonstrate a really strong interest in conducting academic research. You also refer to that, I noticed, in your video. And to do research, but really with an eye towards practical societal impact. So your thesis focuses on the value of design thinking and employee alignment, and this is your work, your coach now speaking. Whilst working on your thesis, you really dived deeply into the topic, and you truly showcased your intrinsic motivation and your strong personal motivation and skills as well to investigate this new emergent phenomena of adopting design thinking in the context of managing for and with your employees. It's not exaggerating to say that Timon has rich knowledge and a deep understanding of theoretical thinking, as well as a keen eye towards doing research that has societal relevance. Through conducting semi-structured interviews with experts in the field, you managed to conclude with a conceptual model explaining the mechanisms underlying the potential impact of design thinking on organizations and employees. Your coach says, I enjoyed working with Timon as he's an independent thinker and a very cheerful person. He considered writing the thesis as a real valuable opportunity to develop a rigorous research project, and he never compromised when facing challenges. If I don't hear from him for a while, I can fully trust that he will impress me with his progress when we meet again. So your coach was particularly impressed by your independent way of working, as well as the real deep academic skills that you brought to the project. Timon, when you started our program, your arrival coincided with more applications coming from Switzerland, your home base. And we were assuming at the time that this was because you were doing a lot of positive word of mouth for us and were convincing your friends and colleagues to join. So we thought it was your positive vibe that had reached out to these other Swiss professionals. It was an absolute pleasure to have you on the program, and I think you should be really proud of what you've accomplished here. You've written an exceptionally good thesis that demonstrates your academic mind, coupled with your practical, hands-on attitude and communication perspective. And you've done that whilst extending your young family and during 2 lockdown periods. We've also come to know you as a very ambitious and driven person, and this really seems to work for you. You completed the program in a very short space of time, and we look forward to witnessing. I understand you're now going into banking, or at least you alluded to that. We're looking forward to witnessing your next move and probably an equally fast step in your career moving forward. We wish you all the best. Many, many congratulations. And on behalf of Erasmus University Rotterdam, I hereby virtually hand you your diploma. So diploma will come your way, but here it is. And you can now turn the graduation tassel from the right to the left, so that we officially mark that you've completed the program. Oh, keep it on, yeah. Yes, that's it. Many congratulations.
Yeah, and first of all, thank you very much, Professor, for this very nice and kind words. To be honest, I started very naively 2018 into that program. My daughter was just born 2 months before. I was actually at home because I wanted to have the experience with the growing family. And after 2 months, I decided quite spontaneously to get into the academic world again. And I started just the program to do some courses without having the exception to also graduate in that short time period. Finally, I did it 3 years later after getting 2 kids, having a house, changing the job twice, and in between quite long pandemic situation. It is a crazy moment for me. I would not have expected to reach that point. Finally, I did it. Big thanks to my family, of course, again to my dad and my wife and 2 kids at home, but also especially to you as a program professor, and a very, very, very big thank you to Marijke and her team, because this is really exceptional work what you guys did in Rotterdam. Thank you.
So thank you, Timon. But again, we really applaud also your focus, and as you also mentioned, your ability to go through the coursework so quickly amidst all of those things happening in your life is really impressive. So again, many, many congratulations. We're going to go to Yasmin Farisi. I hope I'll see you on the screen in a minute, Yasmin. Let me start with your thesis work. So Yasmin has written a really unique, interesting and important thesis that surely will resonate with a lot of people in the Netherlands. The topic is, how do certain companies benefit from a crisis, such as the pandemic that we're currently living through? What does this mean for how they're being seen, and what should they do in return and communicate as a result of these perceptions that stakeholders have of them? And how can they do that effectively so that they, as well as their stakeholders, build back better and come out positively out of a crisis? I cannot stress enough how creative a take this is. It is fresh, it's courageous, it's a different line of thinking compared to the classic way of thinking about crisis management, where it's about one company trying to manage, following a crisis, the potentially negative repercussions with their stakeholders. So obviously you looked at your own company here, Albert Heijn, that in some senses was, well, I wouldn't say profiting from the crisis, but you know, they had, in that sense, they were in a favorable position that they could continue with their business, whereas many other businesses had to close or were facing more significant challenges. So you looked at your own company around this question of, and this is really a unique scenario that has never been looked at before in research terms in corporate communication. What happens in that type of scenario where you're actually seen to be profiting, whereas others are actually experiencing significant hardship. So you've done a fantastic piece of work on that, on your own organization, and you really pushed the way of thinking in corporate communication on this topic forward. Inspiring, and yeah, as I said, really inspiring and a really good piece of work. Let me go to your coach. He can probably articulate it better than I can how good a piece of work you did. Your coach says Yasmin developed an interesting thesis to study how a company can stand out in a crisis through committing to a proper and authentic crisis communication and CSR strategy. While many of us are concerned about the drastic consequences of the pandemic, she started an exceptional journey to explore why some businesses managed to benefit from the crisis and fulfill stakeholder interests. To understand the perceptions among different stakeholder groups, you conducted a significant number of 32 interviews with employees and consumers of Albert Heijn. This amount of interviews is rarely seen in a master thesis, but Yasmin did it. You managed to do all of that work for your thesis, which is really impressive. While facing a lot of uncertainty and being exposed to high risk at work because of the ongoing COVID situation, you were nonetheless very determined to think constructively about how this pandemic could have resulted in positive changes in the business sector and how this would ultimately be driven by the co-creation between companies and their stakeholders. Your perspective, your coach says, is truly inspiring and really encourages all of us to think positively, difficult word for me, in difficult times. So really inspirational work, high quality work, and very creative, as I said at the beginning. Fantastic. When you applied for our program, Yasmin, you are, and you were, and you still are, a general manager at Albert Heijn. So you didn't previously had a background in communication. So you didn't really have the typical profile of a communication professional who would enter the program normally, but you really demonstrated from the go that you have a lot of skills, you're very creative, and you have a real academic competence as well that managed to get you through the program in no time. You also went, given that background, it's amazing that you went through the program so quickly and that you were so determined to complete the program in such a short space of time. You were never afraid to speak up and to share your thoughts or to give you insights from your fresh perspective, given the background that you had in the classroom setting. And you were always questioning things and contributed a lot to our master classes in this particular way. Yasmin, you are a very hardworking, involved, and also a very pleasant student. And I wish you all the best in your next steps as a communicator. I really hope that Albert Heijn sees the value in you as not just as a general manager, which I'm sure you're very good at, but hopefully also in the future as a communicator, and involve you in the strategic leadership of the organization. Many congratulations with your study success and with the whole journey that you're completing at this point in time. So on behalf of Erasmus University Rotterdam, I hereby virtually hand you your diploma. There it is. And I will also ask you to turn the tassel on your hat from the right to the left, so that you're now officially a graduate of the program. Many, many congratulations, Jasmine. And I would like to invite you as well to share a few words.
Yes, thank you a lot for the kind word, Professor. First of all, I really want to thank Marijke and her team, but also Ms. Wang and Professor Wang and Professor van der Klooster for their guidance and patience through my thesis journey. I'm so glad that I started this journey 2 years ago. I've learned so much from the students in this class, and I really wanted to thank my family and my friends for their endless support and patience over the past 2 years. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, thank you, Jasmine. It was a real pleasure to have you on the program. Again, also given your unusual background, it was fantastic to have you there and contribute. And many, many congratulations again. And wishing you all the best with your next steps. We're going to move to Monica Kovac. You can see the title there on the screen, as well as the I will statement for Monica. And Monica has also done, I just keep repeating myself, I feel, but the quality of the thesis was exceptionally high this year. And Monica has also written an excellent thesis. She has studied how transformational leadership and that style of leading, how that influences employees in becoming brand ambassadors, and how this relationship may be dependent on the power distance culture-wise of the company. As you notice, as I'm stating that as a phrase, I hope it sounds academic to you, because it is exceptionally academic as a type of relationship that she has been studying. And the motivation for the work was that she saw in the literature that transformational leaders, so those people who sketch big visions, really engage with their employees, encourage them to get the best out of themselves, emotionally support them. She saw that these leaders are really important to shape the positive perceptions and behaviors of employees. But Monica asks a really important question here. She asked whether this is always the case, so whether we can always see that relationship between transformational leadership and positive workplace behaviors like employees becoming brand ambassadors. So what about organizational conditions such as culture? Do they change that picture? And by asking that question, a very academic question, and designing your study, you really showed your astute academic mind. And maybe this is also where some of your engineering background, thinking analytically about a topic like this came in. So it's really your ability to think in a very precise, methodical, focused manner and ask an important question that challenged conventional wisdom, academic wisdom on this topic, and allowed you to push the knowledge in the field forward. You formulated, and this is really for insiders in the academic community, interactive hypothesis. So you were thinking about not just the direct relationship from transformational leadership to employee behavior, but how is that conditioned, that's the interaction, by the culture, the power distance, characterizing the culture of an organization. And you also conducted a survey to test this, and you ran your own regressions, which is also exceptional, that we hardly ever see that level of sophistication in quantitative analysis. So really much appreciation, and also many congratulations with getting your thesis to that academic level. It's really impressive. Your coach says Monica has written a really interesting master thesis, and she's gained a lot of learnings along the way from the process. It took you a while before you settled on your research question and before you had articulated your hypothesis, but once you had a good sense of direction, you were really able to go for it and write your master thesis fully independently. The literature review is well written, the method section is very clear, the research is technically done to the highest level, and something to be immensely proud of. And I can only agree. I mean, it's as I said, we don't regularly see that type of academic sophistication as far as quantitative research is concerned. I would say Monica is a kind of a sponge that likes to take up a lot of information, likes to learn as much as she can, and then take that learning to take her next step. I admire her for combining a managerial role at her company whilst taking this master program and whilst caring for her family at the same time. She works really well with feedback, and as a sponge, as soon as she understands or grasps the feedback, she comes into a state of flow and then really delivers. So again, also on behalf of your coach, fantastic what you've been able to do with your thesis. Monica is a great example of a student who followed one course, and you mentioned that, corporate branding, as a standalone course, and then got convinced to pursue the complete master program. And that was really fortunate. It was great for you, but it was also really fortunate for us that you did so. You've been a really great asset to the community. During the master classes, you were always there with your insights and the positive attitude that you brought to the class, and your really nice, warm personality as well. On behalf of Erasmus University Rotterdam, I hereby virtually hand you your diploma. And I can also ask you at this point to try and move the tassel from the right to the left so that you've officially graduated. Congratulations. Monica, can I ask you as well to share a few words?
Yes, thank you very much for the kind words. Again, I would like to say that. And for the study, indeed, I mean, I was very interested to do this study and to take this journey. But obviously, my drive alone is not enough to do this. So I would like to underline and thank you all the friends who supported me, my family, my children who always ask me, Mom, but why are you doing this actually? to be able to reply to this question again and to reflect. And I would also like to thank you a lot, my company. As I mentioned, I work at the European Patent Office. And I would like to thank all the colleagues and my superiors who support me and supported me and told me, yes, it's a crazy idea perhaps to you, but go for it and be courageous and do it. And I would like also to thank them especially because there are a lot of great people who work at this organization who not only supported me during the studies, but are also there to celebrate with me. And that's also a great moment. And just during the celebration, I already received the flowers. So thank you very much for sharing with me this moment.
Yeah, that sounds great. So thank you for that, Monica. And and I hope you extend those celebrations, starting with the flowers now, but that you also have a chance to celebrate them with your colleagues who supported you so much during the process. Fantastic. Okay, we're going to move to Karen Loos-Gelijns. You can see the thesis the title of Karen's thesis on the slide, as well as her I will statement. And Karen got a 9, a really high mark for her thesis, and she graduates today summa cum laude with the highest honors of the master program. So many congratulations, first of all, for that. Fantastic. Karen wrote her thesis on a hugely important topic: the use of strategic communication by the armed forces to fight battles online and to win support in a transparent and fair way. In the context of fake news and propaganda all over the world, and with international conflicts such as the war in Ukraine and the annexation of the Crimea by the Russian Federation that really showed the role of such digital warfare, Karen decided that her focus should be on efforts of developing a strategic communication framework and a set of tools for strategic communication for the Dutch armed forces. She has interviewed international experts in the field, and she pieced together an academically rigorous but also highly relevant tool that can inform strategy and practice. So it's a really good thesis that is academically rigorous, but, and I hope it's going to be used, can also be immediately extended into practice and help your employer, the Armed Forces in the Netherlands. Your coach, Paul Argenti, says, Karen has produced groundbreaking work in this thesis. The topic of propaganda and disinformation and misinformation is so relevant both to her work and to the work of all of us that I was not only delighted to work with her, but also to learn from her research as she was conducting it. Indeed, her focus on theory, beginning with the literature review and throughout the thesis, is really her strong suit. While she was only able to interview a handful of people as part of this research, which is understandable, given that it might be difficult to get anyone to agree to talk about sensitive issues like this, she does that exceptionally well. Overall, this is a great thesis from my perspective, and he says it's actually one of the best theses that I've been supervising at Erasmus over the last couple of years. Karen is a consummate professional, and she approached this topic not only with a keen interest in the research, but with the motivation that it would be helpful in her work as a commander in the Dutch Navy. I think this research is good enough for us to pursue and write up as an article based on the findings that might be more relevant in a business context, and I'll make sure that I'll pursue that with Karen after she graduates. So you can expect an email from Paul Argenti soon to write up that paper together. Bravo, Karen, he says. Karen, we really enjoyed having you in all of our classes. You are very thoughtful, considerate towards other people, and you always have a keen interest in learning and bettering yourself. Some professors, such as Professor Argenti, were also charmed by the fact that you hold a military position. He was really impressed by that, and he often addressed you with commander, I've been led to believe, even in class. So that must have been interesting. You also won the hot eating contest, as Marijke mentioned, in New York. And besides that achievement, you have a really keen sense of humor, and you always have a smile on your face. You're also one of the smartest people who has gone through the program. Even when your life was complicated by international conflict, and by having to care for your elderly parents, you remained focused on your work and dedicated throughout. So on behalf of Erasmus University Rotterdam, many, many congratulations, and I hereby virtually hand you your diploma. And I will also ask you at this point to turn the tassel to the left so that you've officially graduated now. Karen, I would also like to invite you to share a few words.
Yeah, I just want to thank RSM for this wonderful program, but especially Professor Argenti and Joep Cornelissen for their support and guidance through the thesis trajectory, and my dear husband, Ollie, for his support. So thank you.
Yeah, fantastic. Yeah. Again, many congratulations, and you really deserve all the credits. It's exceptional what you've done with your thesis and throughout the program. So summa cum laude is a great achievement. Fantastic. Okay, we're going to move on, and I need to look at the screen just to make sure that I've got the right graduate. Yeah, Liliana. Liliana Rodriguez dos Santos. I hope to see you on the screen in a minute, Liliana. Liliana has done her thesis, as she already mentioned in the video actually, on a really fundamental question that is important to all of us. How can communication about climate change and sustainability, how can that push people into action? So it's really the million-dollar question, I think, at this point in time, given everything around us, that everyone wants to know how that works. And you approach this really broad question through a very focused study looking at 2 recent campaigns on sustainable fashion that involved influencers as endorsements. One, as I saw you explain, was successful, one was less so, and you received quite a bit of backlash online, and you ask, based on these 2 campaigns, whether influencers may be a good medium towards reaching younger audiences and influencing them to consume more sustainably. And when and how this may work, that's the topic of your thesis. Your coach says, I think this is a really well-conducted study with extremely interesting findings. The comparative setup where you compare the 2 campaigns and look at the responses that they gathered online and use social media data to analyze that is really, really well done. You establish the tone and content of the responses to the 2 campaigns and establish why the one was more successful than the other. You describe this in detail, and based on that description and the analysis that you provide, you give some really good informed recommendations to communication professionals. So many, many congratulations. Liliana, we've come to know you as a very committed, passionate and focused communication professional who is extremely driven and really knows what she wants out of this course, but I suspect also in life that you have a really good sense of what you want to get out of every interaction and every experience where you can potentially learn and develop yourself as a human being, but also as a professional. Your level of focus is really something that marks you out, your focus and determination. And then being able to learn in that way and also to go so quickly through the program is really impressive. We've experienced you as a woman who's always on top of things, very well planned, very meticulous, very well organized, and you were in frequent contact with the program management team. You often came across as thinking a few steps ahead, so we always had to keep up with you in terms of your thinking and where you were already at compared to us as mere mortals trying to catch up with you. So you're a really fast thinker, always planning ahead, very eager to move forward and plan and take the next step. We're sure that your focus and your methodical approach in doing so, which is the way in which you completed your master program, is probably also something that your current company and your current work benefits a lot from as well. We wish you all the best with your next steps in your career, and we hope, first of all, that you'll be able to celebrate a little bit starting today, but I think you can hopefully extend that into, make it a celebration weekend, extend it into the weekend as well. So many, many congratulations with your thesis work, but also with completing the master program. On behalf of Erasmus University Rotterdam, I also hereby virtually hand you your diploma. The actual diploma will come your way. And I will ask you as well to turn your tassel from the right to the left so that you've now officially graduated. Congratulations. I would also like to ask you to share a few words.
Thank you, Professor Corneliussen. I'm delighted to finish the master. It has been a real dream for me to go back to university and to pursue more knowledge. The pandemic actually presented an amazing opportunity that allowed me to do that. I had the time to do that. And I went for it, and I can say that it was an incredible journey. I've met incredible colleagues and people who are doing amazing things in communication. And I would like to thank my professor, my coach, Professor Florian Madetorner, for his great energy and ideas, and also Professor Guido Behrens for his detailed feedback. They were extremely friendly and helpful in any way, and also to the team at Erasmus. They were very, very welcoming, and they always made the program feel very personal, even if it was online. So thank you for your kind words, and I'm really ready to give back all that I've learned.
Okay, that's fantastic to hear. And that might actually, well, we can't see your I will statement anymore, but it's wonderful to hear that you will be giving back based on what you learned. So and again, I hope you'll be able to celebrate a little bit over the weekend. So many congratulations again. We're going to move to, just need to get my papers in order. I think it's Silvana, but I might not be correct. Yes, is it Silvana? Yes, perfect. Okay, I'm back on track. Silvana Spet, 8.5 for your thesis. You wrote, I would say, one of the most interesting and creative theses of this year on a very important and very distinct topic, which is the adoption of blockchain technology in the media industry. Just to give that a bit of context I also had to read up on your thesis and to give myself a little bit of context, but also to give a bit of context to the people watching at home. Blockchain as a technology has been promoted because of its because that technology as a sort of decentralized certification mechanism is seen as a way of the future, maybe potentially for the media industry, as a way of assuring that news is factual and accurate. So in the context of lots of fake news, mis and disinformation that is all around us, particularly on social media platforms, this could be a technology that could be used by media companies to make sure that reporting is truthful, factual, and accurate. So it's a real important piece of work, and it's really at the cutting edge of the of your industry, of the media and journalism industry, where these questions are being asked and where these different types of blockchain technologies are being explored. So as a journalist yourself, it seems to me that this was a topic that was close to your heart. You care about the journalistic product, you care about accurate reporting and all of the work that goes into that, and you also care obviously about making sure that accuracy is there for the benefit of society. And you really went out of your way to study and learn about these new technologies, because I gather that, as for me, well, I mean, you're a journalist, you're in the middle of this, but for someone looking at these new technologies for the first time and really trying to get to the bottom of how they work and what the different options are, must have been a lot of work. Your coach says Silvana wrote an excellent master thesis about a very innovative topic, well structured, and you refer to academic writing, also academically very well written as a piece of work, concise but with the right amount of detail and nuance. In her research, she spoke to several founders of these blockchain technology initiatives, and she really tried to disentangle the hype and the promise from the reality, providing a clear picture of the current state of the art. It's always a challenge to get in touch with experts who are working on these new technologies, but through perseverance, Silvana was able to get it done admirably. It was a pleasure to work with her, and she's well organized and works very independently. The thesis has high practical and theoretical relevance, which means that as a coach, I also feel I learned a lot about the topic in the process. I wish you all the best in your future career. Silvana, we've come to know you as a very ambitious and committed student, progressing through the program as many of the other colleagues here today, many of the other students, in a relatively short amount of time. And you're always keen to learn and develop yourself as a professional. You're always present in classes with a perceptive comment or an incisive analysis that you provided, and we will miss your contributions in our master classes. It's impressive how you managed to complete the program whilst living also in these different countries, Switzerland, Hungary, moving all over the world. And maybe an interesting fact here is that it's something that we found out, that both Monica and you are both from Hungary, and you also started the course at the same time in corporate branding, and you didn't know each other at the time, but now you do. So thank you for all your contributions to the classes that you participated in, and also again many congratulations on the really creative thesis work that you've done. So on behalf of Erasmus University Rotterdam, I also virtually hand you your diploma. You'll get the official one with your name sent to you. And I will also ask you at this point to turn to move the tassel from right to left so that you've officially graduated. There you go. So many congratulations, and Silvana, I would like to give you the floor as well.
Yeah, thank you very much for the kind words as well. And yeah, first to Monica, I was also very happy to see that Hungary is represented in this program. I don't think that, or I'm not sure if you had a lot of Hungarians in the past. I think you have a lot of people in Western Europe and Switzerland, yes, but maybe Hungary not. So I'm very happy for that. To the thesis, yeah, it was Florian, my co-reader, warned me that blockchain is a hard topic and I should think about it before I do it. And he was very right. Even if I'm in the middle of this topic during my work, I'm not that detailed in it as I needed to be for this thesis. So it was a lot of work to figure out how it works and then describe it in a way that is understandable for other people. So it was challenging. In some points, I thought it was not possible, but in the end, it worked out. So I'm very happy and relieved that I'm done with that part. And yeah, I would just like to thank my family and my boyfriend mainly, who had to stand me during this weekends where I was not available for anything else, only for going to my room, closing the door and trying to finish my thesis. And also for my company that they were very flexible and giving me that extra time to do the extra work for this master. So thank you very much.
Yeah, fantastic. It's good to hear that you had all that support. And you said you had to learn yourself, but again, the learning that you're demonstrating in the thesis on these new technologies is really impressive. And hope you continue. Hope, given the promise and the work that you've done on the thesis, hope that you'll be able to continue some of the work that you've done there. So many congratulations again, and yeah, hope you'll have also an opportunity to celebrate today and over the weekend. We're going to move to Aries Pride, I think. Yes, that's right. Ari, I was reminded of your video just now where you said it's been hard work completing the thesis, but you've done it, and you've done it also really, really well. In your thesis, you investigate the conditions under which it makes sense for a brand or an organization to speak out and to become politically active on a societal issue. So think of racial inequality or gender violence. You develop a nice set of arguments and hypotheses about the fit between an issue or brand on the one hand, the fit between an issue and a brand, so that organizations are advised to do this when this fit is high and they are seen to be authentically speaking to an issue. And when obviously the fit isn't there, then they should think twice as to whether they want to speak up on an important societal issue. You then also argue that the level of involvement with the issue matters for the audience to really appreciate the position that is taken up by the organization. You investigate these hypotheses for Satkin, an educational organization in Rotterdam, at which you work yourself, and that currently has around, I looked it up, around 12,000 students, maybe more, maybe less. As you were interested in knowing how these hypotheses would work out, how they would play out in the context of a millennial generation, and based on their sense of involvement with the issue at hand. So that you would do an important piece of work on this topic, but also working on your own organization would be able to provide some really good recommendations for how you as an organization communicate on these issues to students. Your coach says Ari has written a really good thesis. Ari is a pragmatic man who is well aware of his strengths and challenges. He is social, positive, and has a very warm personality, and he is also a family man. He knows well how he wants to balance work and life, but also balance thesis work and life. So you really have a good sense of how you want to do that. He's passionate about his profession and really engaged with young people, the pupils at Satkin. The thesis process was in some senses a challenging one for Ari, trying to bring the complexity of the topic down into coherent research design and a coherent study. I do think that his pragmatic character, his pragmatism helped him towards the finish line, and I really hope that he's proud today that he managed to finalize his thesis, given that the thesis is so contemporary and so insightful. So in hindsight, I'm sure, having finished it now, looking back, he enjoyed it as much as I did, and as well as appreciated the learnings that he got from the process. Ari, you're a consummate professional, someone with boundless energy and always willing to contribute and share your views. You were also much liked by your fellow students, and I've also heard that you were also admired by them, not only for your personality and classroom contributions, but also for your good looks. I've only heard this in passing. Yeah, don't, yeah, I'm just sharing. And particularly, so you had apparently a lot of female fans throughout the whole master program, and particularly also among the ladies of the New York study trip, because of your charm and your Jude Law looks. I can see it a little bit. I have to, yeah, I can see that definitely, yeah. Joking aside, I really hope you're proud of your accomplishments today, and we wish you all the best with the next steps in your career. So Ari, on behalf of Erasmus University Rotterdam, I also hereby virtually hand you your diploma, and I ask you to turn the tassel from right to left, so that you're now officially a graduate of the MCC program. Many congratulations. And I invite you to share a few words as well.
Okay, thank you for the kind words, Professor Cornelissen. Well, let me tell you, I am really, really happy and really proud, of course, and really relieved, because I actually think at one moment during the thesis process, I really was at the verge of quitting, of pulling the plug. I was done with it, because as you said, I am really a pragmatic guy, always counting on my gut feeling, on my experience, and you know, enjoying, of course, and being inspired by all of the academic stuff I came across the last couple of years. But this was it was a real struggle. But I, thanks to my coach, Professor Rosa, who really picked me up and cheered me to the finish line. So a really big shout out to her for doing that. And I'm really, really glad I didn't pull the plug, because I'm really proud and really happy to be here today. Also really glad to see my my fellow students, especially the students who were with me in New York, like already mentioned. I really had a blast with Karen and Anouk and Julia, and of course with Marijke and Susanna, who were there. Karen, congratulations on the summa cum laude, excellent job, by the way. And maybe last but not least, I want to thank my family. I hope I haven't neglected my family not too much. A lot of late night work. So, but I know from my wife, people know me as, like you said, energetic and always happy, always smiling. And I wasn't smiling in the middle of the thesis process, and I think she had to deal with that. So thank you, Rosalinde. And thank you, RSM, for having a great time.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, it sounds as if it was a true test of character to get the thesis done, but you managed it, and it's fantastic. And also nice to hear all that support, and your wife, and also even the coaches cheering you to the finish line. So that's fantastic to hear. So many congratulations again, Ari. Fantastic. And hope you'll also be able to celebrate, or at least have a few celebratory moments today and also over the weekends. You really deserve that. Okay, we'll move to I think to Merlijn, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, good to see you, Merlijn. Marlijn, I'm going to jump straight into your thesis, and then I'll say a few words about how we got to know you in the end. Marlijn has written an academically rigorous and relevant thesis on the framing of social causes and how this influences people to donate and give money. In your day job at the Red Cross, this is something that you probably think about on a daily basis. How to frame the message, how to get people to donate to the organization, to the good causes that you're dealing with. So you're probably thinking about that on a daily basis in terms of every form of communication that goes out of your department and out of the organization. And it's wonderful to see that you picked a topic that is apparently so close to your heart and really dug in, went deep in terms of the academic side of that topic and never really let go. So you really go deep and you made sure with the thesis that you would end up with some really good and insightful findings at the end of it. So you really went for it. You thoroughly reviewed past studies on this question and you developed your own original line of analysis. You offer a really nice typology of whether frames should be positively or negatively worded, whether it should focus on victims or should focus instead on people who need help and support to make something of their lives, or whether the focus should be on sympathy or bigger values like social justice or care. You use this typology to determine, based on interviews, whether such frames are closely coupled to specific behaviors from donors to give more or less. The most telling conclusion of your research is that thinking in this way, and I was a bit surprised, I have to admit, is not yet mainstream in the humanitarian sector. And hence your study is one that doesn't just make an academic contribution, but can also hopefully be widely disseminated in the sector so that that insight, and on the basis of that insight, more skill will be developed around effective communication in the humanitarian sector. Your coach says Marlijn has written a really good thesis about how NGOs communicate to the outside community and how framing and mechanisms to give are being used for obtaining donations. Your work is highly relevant for the NGO world, which is coping with a decrease in subsidies and has difficulties reaching donors due to algorithms that are being used by social media platforms and the privacy regulations that have come in for storing information from potential donors. You interviewed a great amount of people working for a diversity of non-profit organizations, and that has resulted in a really strong message that different departments within the same organization must be careful in sharing an aligned story to the outside world. And also that the time for strong emotive messaging may be behind us. So some really important findings there coming out of your study. It was a great pleasure and honor to supervise you, Marlijn, during your thesis trajectory. Marlijn, you are a passionate communication professional with a seemingly boundless amount of energy. Everyone who meets you is affected by your enthusiasm. It's also wonderful to see you complete the program and in such a short space of time. In your acknowledgements, you actually mention how you're really happy at this point to have obtained a university degree, having gone through the different steps in the Dutch educational system. And that you really appreciate that, having had that opportunity. I can also say from our side, you more than deserve it, and we're actually very delighted for you that you got your degree today. And you should be very proud of the accomplishments, your learning and your overall contribution to the program. We also learned a lot from you as part of the journey. We wish you all the best with your work at the Red Cross, and we hope that you will publish your findings to help other organizations in this sector as well. So on behalf of Erasmus University Rotterdam, I hereby virtually hand you your diploma. And I will also ask you to move your tassel so that at this point, Marlijn, you're also officially a graduate. Many congratulations. Yeah, we've got an army of people here clapping just to make sure that you get the credits that each of you deserves. Marlijn, also I would like to invite you to share a few words as well.
Yeah, thank you, Professor, for these very kind words. I also want to thank the professor who guided me through this thesis process, which was quite a challenge. Lucas Meijs and also the co-reader Ingrid de Vries. They helped me finding a really interesting topic to research, which was also very useful for my sector. And this is what I really wanted, because I wanted to be useful and that people could take advantage of it. I think, as you mentioned, there are quite some conclusions that the organizations can work on. My thesis is about doing good. And on this day, the Black Friday, which is all about consuming, I think it's very good to think about the important things in life. And I think this corona crisis and also the climate change emphasizes more than ever the importance of doing good. And I hope the study will help my colleagues to do even a better job than they already do. And these were my first steps in the academic world. And I found there was so many interesting research available, to my surprise, actually, because I didn't know it was there. So I think it would be very interesting, and I wish also that there would be a better link between what we find out and the practice, because I think all these research can be very useful for them as well. And we can link these both worlds better. I take at least these lessons with me and all the other things I learned during this journey this past 3 years, and I'm sure it will enable me to do my job much better than before. And I want to thank you and your team for making that possible.
Yeah, thank you, Marlijn. And as I said, it's such a good piece of work, and I really hope you get an opportunity. I know you've just graduated and you've done your thesis work, so maybe your mind is not yet in translating that into an article for in a newspaper or in a magazine that allows you to share, or maybe even a policy paper that you can share in the sector. But I really encourage you to do that, given, as you said, so many of these findings that are really, really important and will help people in the sector communicate more effectively. So so thank you for that, and hope you'll find many opportunities to celebrate afterwards, but also over the weekend. So many congratulations again. And actually the topic you raise, how can we better connect between academic research and practice, is a good bridge to Anouk Solter-Postumus, that I think we'll turn to now, who actually studied that for her thesis. So thank you, Marlijn, for that bridge. It's a good continuation of the proceedings. Anouk has actually researched how research institutes in the Netherlands, so applied research institutes, can communicate better so that they reach their key audiences, and so that these recommendations that they put forward based on research can be put into practice. So as an academic myself, this was a topic I keenly read your thesis, because I also wanted to know, what goes wrong in terms of all of this good research being produced, but then not, as you would hope, given the evidence that is then gathered, but is not finding its way into practice and into society. You were motivated to study this question based on your own professional roles in such institutes, and even today you have such a role, and you were worried that too little of the communications and reports of such institutes were having an impact. And you were sadly confirmed in your intuition. So there is a lack of real good communication based on this research finding its way into society. Your research shows that communication is sometimes an afterthought and is not part of what researchers in these institutes commonly think about. So it's really secondary to what they do. It's also not part of the funding arrangements, and hence there are many missed opportunities, as with good targeted communication, the research that is reported could have had a way bigger impact than it currently has. So one of the biggest opportunities is for these institutes is to become more interactive in their communication, as you show in your thesis, moving beyond providing just limited information to media and doing the kind of reporting that they're currently doing. In your introduction, I noticed you have a very modest phrasing of your ambition that you hope that others will also read your thesis. And I really hope beyond that modesty, that people in the sector will read it and will learn from it and will do a better job as a result. So hopefully those working for and communicating on behalf of these research institutes, including my own university, would read your report and do better. Your coach says Anouk's thesis is characterized by an overall thorough approach in how she provides a good reflection of the literature, clearly positions her study within this literature, and provides a theoretical lens that she consistently applies to her data. She also provides a good reflection on her results in light of both the literature and in light of practice. The thesis is exceptionally well written, and I also felt that myself. It's so well written that it's very engaging. So even for someone not well versed in the topic, you just keep reading and you keep reading all the way to the end. So it's really well written, and you also show good reflections throughout the manuscript. Anouk, you're a great communicator. You're really a rounded communicator, very professional, and with a gift for framing and storytelling. We realized that you had quite a lot of challenges and also positive things, but also negative things that you had to work through during your time as a master's student. But as you said yourself in your video, you've done it, and you should be really proud of that achievement. We have deep admiration for your resilience and for your can-do practical attitude, even during the hardest times. Sometimes life does get in the way of a study program, but you didn't let that be a setback for you. You really went for it and completed the program regardless. And that really shows your strength of character and the persistence that you have to carry through. We wish you take time today, and I see there's lots of people around you, so I'm pretty sure that you managed to celebrate, and there's nice decorations there as well, so wonderful. We wish you take time today to celebrate this milestone, and we wish you all the best in your career as well as in your efforts to help the sector further professionalize their communications. I think that's really important, and it's really extremely valuable work that you are doing, but that you've also been doing academically with your thesis. So on behalf of Erasmus University Rotterdam, I hereby hand you virtually your diploma, and I also ask you at this point to move the tassel from the right to the left, so that you're officially a graduate of the program. Many, many congratulations. And I invite you or maybe one of your family members to share some words as well.
Thank you for all your kind words. I'm very proud to have successfully completed the Corporate Communications Master Program. I started out being pregnant, but I thought there's never a right time to start, so I just did it, and I've never regretted it for a bit. I've learned so much and enjoyed the whole experience of gaining knowledge and being able to solely focus on my field of expertise. So that was a real gift. I would like to thank you all for your interesting courses and the great organization and support of Marijke, Susanne, and Victoria, and Ahong. And I don't want to forget anybody, but I do, but I forget. I'm sorry. I'm grateful for the help of my coach, Guido Berens, and my co-reader, Professor Lucas Meijs, during writing my thesis. And of course, a special shout out to Philip Boerenbach. He knows why. And I would especially like to mention my dear husband, Pim, because without him, I wouldn't be able to do what I'm doing, not only in relation to this program, but in general. I love him very much. So that's important to tell. And furthermore, everybody, congratulations and have a good evening celebrating.
Yeah, thank you for sharing, Anouk. That's wonderful to hear. And yeah, it's wonderful to also see your family there supporting you today. And I do hope you start the celebrations after this broadcast and extend them, well, maybe not with all of the family members, but extend them into the evening and into the night and maybe the weekend as well. So many, many congratulations. And then I think we turn to the definitely last but definitely not least, Charette Verschuur. Yeah. I hope I can see you as well. Yeah, okay, yeah, it's good to see you. Charette, you've written something, a thesis on a topic that you also really care about. So it's wonderful to see, as we've seen with other graduates, that you really pick something that is close to your heart. And in your case, it is really, as that expression says, something that you really deeply, passionately care about. So how can we make sure that we get diverse workplaces, but we also get people to experience a sense of belonging at their work? And you describe in your thesis how this personal motivation to study this was given in by working for an organization where you unfortunately lacked yourself a sense of belonging, where you felt somewhat left out, and you've made it an aspiration ever since to address this. It's a really important cause that you've been thinking about ever since. And that I realized you said in your video you've started a company actually which will be in part about addressing this, helping companies, helping organizations create workplaces where everyone feels at ease at home and feel this keen sense of belonging. You even call it an epidemic in your thesis. So it's a real epidemic that you feel needs to be addressed. Based on, and this notion of an epidemic is based on your research showing how many people you've interviewed who feel really uneasy at work and are not able to realize their potential or live rich and rewarding, flourishing working lives. So it's really this untapped potential and the negative emotions, the stress, the burnout, whatever else mental effects that has that you care deeply about. You look at the topic through the perspective of an internal communication professional, which is your home ground, and you interview professionals as well as new employees being onboarded in a new organization. And obviously the current COVID environment added an interesting dimension to your thinking in terms of not just doing the interviews online, but also how that onboarding process and how creating a sense of belonging, how that would work in a virtual environment. Your coach says you've written a really relevant and well-researched thesis. You've developed a model that can be useful for devising specific countermeasures within organizations, aimed at ameliorating the aspects of the belonging problem with the current resources that an organization has. You have identified clear obstacles to those practices, and you give some recommendations where realignments within organizations could help. You also nicely demonstrate the improvisation, the confusion and the failures that ensue in organizations faced with carrying out the onboarding of new employees during the pandemic. And you propose a number of measures that can help both organizations and employees. Those measures, your coach says, really need to be widely known. So he's encouraging you to, through your practice, but also through the subsequent work that you do on the back of your thesis, to make that public, to make sure that more organizations can benefit from your insights and recommendations. The larger ambition of you as the author to reframe the construction of belonging as a core mission of internal communication is something that I applaud, and it is something that I hope, this is your coach speaking, I hope you keep working on that. Charette, from our side, you're a wonderful, engaged and lively person who always added a lot to any class you were in. You always leave an impression in a group. It's impossible not to notice you and to realize that you were there as part of a master course. And I mean that in a very, very positive way. You will be fondly remembered by your fellow students and by everyone from the MCC program. You're outspoken and curious in a nice way, and we also see and have experienced that you're very proud of your Philippine roots. I also think you did an amazing job completing the program and the thesis, in particular in this period, with COVID affecting your family, not just here, but also back home in the Philippines. And to then carry on with the program and completing your thesis is really impressive. It's wonderful to see you so well supported, and it's wonderful as well to see that you had such stamina to get the thesis done and graduate today. We're very happy for your success, and we wish you all the best in the next steps in your career. And hopefully, and I'm convinced of that you will keep doing that. Hopefully you will keep pursuing your dream of creating these workplaces where people feel that sense of belonging. And I'm pretty sure that you will keep working on that and that you will make an important contribution there. So on behalf of Erasmus University Rotterdam, I also hand you virtually your diploma at this point and ask you to, there it is, and ask you to move your tassel from right to left. Congratulations. Can I also ask you to share some words?
Yeah, thank you for the kind words, Professor. And I really enjoyed this master program. And also thank you for putting together a very excellent program. And I also want to thank, of course, my husband and my son for also surviving all the late nights. So he did have to have late nights, but you know what I mean. And also I would like to thank my classmates as well, who are very supportive of the journey, Karen, Timon, and Yasmina, and Merline and Ari. And then also I would like to thank the MCC team for being really, really supportive, for giving us all a sense of belonging all the time. And also of course, my coach, Mark Hunter, and my co-reader, Professor Lonica Rosa. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Charette. Wonderful. And it's a shame because this brings us to the end, but yeah, again, many congratulations, and hope you as well will, even if it's within the home today, we'll celebrate your achievement together today. So many congratulations again. That brings us, unfortunately, I know it's been a long sit for some of you watching at home, but it also feels a bit of a shame that we're really ending this part, because as I said, it's the work this year has been very exceptional, and it's been a very inspirational and engaged cohort of students that we've had and that are graduating here this year. So it's also a shame to see you go, but we wish you all the best with the next steps in your career. This brings us to the end of this part, but we're not completely done yet. So I would like to continue with 2 Thesis Awards that we hand out every year. So as part of the program, and also this year, we have a jury looking at all of the theses and deciding which of the thesis work is deserving of one of these 2 awards. The first award, I should say, is called the Andreas Award for Innovation in Corporate Communication. And that's an award that is given to the thesis work that really is creative and really has a strong degree of innovation in it. So innovation in terms of a new topic, innovation in terms of the method that it used to analyze something, or innovation in terms of fresh thinking in terms of the recommendations for practice. That's one of the awards. Then the other award is the Case from Real Award for Impact and Excellence, and that's an award that is named after the founder of the program, Case from Real, and it recognizes a thesis that is both strong on theory and practice. It really has the strength of meeting both hurdles at the same time, both rigor and relevance at the same time, and that's also an exceptional achievement to do that in any particular thesis. And with this award, we hope to honor the thesis that, in our opinion, did that the best this year. So we're going to announce both winners in a minute, and both awards will be handed out virtually by the people who they're named after. So we first have Dr. Anders Ingenieur Dries van Beek, who was the former chairman of the board of the Corporate Communication Center, and he was involved in the program from the start. So he's going to hand out the award for the Innovation in Corporate Communication award that we hand out, and he will announce the winner, and you'll hear that from him now.
The Andreas Innovation Award in Corporate Communication was initiated in 2012 in my name. It's a great honor today to award it to a graduate who excels through innovative thinking, the creation of new knowledge, and the development of methods that bring out the best in organizations in the field of corporate communication. It is my pleasure to announce now the winner of the Andreas Award for Innovation in Corporate Communication 2021 to the most innovative ranked thesis in the Master of Science in Corporate Communication Program 2021. The jury did not only select a winner of the award, they also nominated a candidate for an honorary mention who nearly achieved the same high level in their thesis. The following graduate receives an honorary mention. And the honorary mention goes to Silvana Spet with a thesis entitled, "Can media companies benefit from blockchain?" Again, can media companies benefit from blockchain? Silvana Spet, I congratulate you with this honorary mention. And now I have to announce the winner. After long considerations, the academic faculty of the MCC program selected the following thesis as the winner of the Andreas Award for Innovation in Corporate Communication 2021. It is Timon Eiselt with his thesis entitled "Design Thinking and its Effect on Employees. Investigation the value of design thinking in shaping job satisfaction and engaging employees." In his thesis, Mr. Eiselt shows a great deal of creativity and innovation by linking design thinking with the fields of marketing and communication. He shows how design thinking may be a crucial pathway to develop a more engaging workforce with its higher levels of job satisfaction. The jury was impressed by your fresh take on the subject of employees' engagement, by the quality of your study and your theoretical model. On behalf of myself and the members of the jury, I congratulate you, Mr. Eiselt, with the Andreas Award 2021. Well deserved. Have a good and pleasant day.
Yeah, so many congratulations also to Silvana for her honorable mention, but also many congratulations to Timon for winning the award, which is again recognizing the innovation that you brought into your thesis. I can't see you at this point, but I would also again like to give you the floor just very briefly to respond and to share maybe how you feel upon winning this award.
Yeah, thank you, Joop. Thank you also to the other professor. To be honest, I did not prepare any speech or any words to say. It's just overwhelming, definitely. I did 100% not expect that. So yeah, I'm super happy. thank you so much for this award, and I will definitely make a party tonight.
Great,
thank you.
Good. And you'll get, so as part of this award, there's a little medal that you get, and that will come your way after the ceremony. So many congratulations again. We're going to move to the second award, which is the Professor Kees van Wiel Award for the thesis that best blends theory and practice. And as I said, Professor van Wiel was the founder of the program so many years ago. And he's also been himself someone who really bridged between theory and practice. So it's recognizing him and his legacy, as well as now, with the award, the student that managed to bridge between the two most effectively in the thesis. And you're going to hear from him, from Professor van Wiel as well, who will be the winner for this year.
Good afternoon. It's a pleasure to be here during the graduation day of the Master of Corporate Communication program. I'm very glad that we have 11 graduates today, and I'm sure you can all be very proud about your performance and about finalizing your program. As you know, there is a special award, and I'm very pleased now to announce the winner of that award in 2021. There's a jury consisting of the academic staff of the Master of Corporate Communication program, and they of course had a very difficult time in finding the right person that could win this award. There are two announcements. One is a special honorary mention for Monica Kovacs, who is a thesis entitled How Power Distance Influences the Effect of Transformational Leadership Style on Brand Strengthening Employee Behavior. My congratulations for your excellent thesis. However, the winner of 2021 is a very special thesis, and the winner is Karen Loos-Gelijns, with a thesis entitled The Battle for the Narrative, a Strategic Communication Framework for Military Operations. In her thesis, Mrs. Loos-Gelijns develops a communication framework for military settings, including for so-called digital warfare. The jury feels that she did an excellent job revealing past models of communication and propaganda and developing her own very practical model that can be used in the daily practice of the military world, also including in the Netherlands. Her model is readily applicable in practice, and it shows how in your thesis it can be applied in a very sophisticated way. I congratulate Karin with this excellent achievement and the staff at the Erasmus University that made this possible and facilitated her work. Congratulations and enjoy the glory.
Many congratulations also from me. First of all, to Monica for, as I already said during my speech, for writing such an exceptionally good academic thesis with very practical relevance, and also, of course, to Karen for being the winner of this award. And equally, Karen, I would like to just very briefly give you the floor and maybe give you an opportunity to share how you feel on winning this award.
Thank you, Joep. I feel a bit flabbergasted, and especially listening to you and the presentation of all the theses, I think everybody should win this award because I heard so many amazing topics and investigations. But thank you.
That's very nice of you, but the glory should all come to you, obviously, as the winner of this award, but I fully agree with you that this year has been exceptional in terms of the quality of the thesis all round. So many congratulations again. I hope you add this other achievement to your celebrations over the weekend. And I now hand over back to Marijke Bouwman for the conclusion of the ceremony.
Okay, big congratulations to you all. We are almost there, so we would like to take this opportunity and thank all professors, lecturers and supporters of our program. They are really at the heart of our program, and we feel so privileged to work with you all. And thank you all for your efforts that you're putting in our program and our students. Thank you so much. So please give them a warm welcome, big applause, sorry. And then we would like to thank all family and friends to be here today. I'm sure all graduates share a sense of gratitude to the family and friends members who've helped them bring them to this special day here today. Thank you so much. And graduates, maybe it's an idea to give them an applause for supporting you during the journeys. This nearly concludes the official part, but before we do, we always do this 100% as a team. So I would like to thank our team, especially Susanna, Victoria, Ahong, Marine, Madison. Thank you all. This is great teamwork, as always. Thank you. And now we come to the end. We would like to ask you three things. So we would like to make an official online graduation photo. Then where you throw your cap in the air. And thirdly, we're going to toast, of course, together on your celebrations today. So the official picture. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I see some people moving out of the screens. Yeah, that's good. Can someone give me a sign if it's correct? Yeah? Oh yeah, I can see you now. Yes, perfect. Okay, this is the official picture, right? So, okay, I'm gonna count down. 3, 2, 1. Smile. Okay, great, guys. Now, the second one is we're gonna throw your caps in the air on 1. Let's do on 1. So, yeah, our team is ready. 3, 2, 1. Yeah, throw the cap. Great. And let's toast on your celebrations. All well done. Congratulations, and have a nice evening celebrating this with your family and friends. Inderdaad niet. Ik zat ook zo te kijken. Kunnen we eindschieten of niet? Of gaan we dan meedansen? Ja, precies. Ja, precies. Ah ja, ik denk, sorry, Marcel. Heel cool. Ja, inderdaad. Het is nu een beetje, ik weet niet, misschien zo meteen een vuurwerk aan. Dan kunnen jullie, then they can, ja, exactly, ja. Ja. Ja, toch? Ja, toch? Goed werk, jongen. Goed gedaan, jongen. Ah, je hebt het wel op het laatste moment overgegeven. Je hebt het gedaan, man.